我不要中文，不要英文。我说我是 low English, speak low English China， 讲中文。你今天给我一个。
Well, another PRC person tried to make Malaysia an embarrassment. I can't believe this has happened almost like 4 to 5, 7 times at this point, man. Like, why is this still happening? Why is people from mainland China hasn't even learned their lesson on how to actually behave themselves in any other countries? Because apparently they were still doing the same exact fucking thing, same exact fucking role in trying to embarrass us. So let me get you guys into this whole case. I just wanted to discuss this just for a little bit. So basically, from what I remember, that Chinese woman, apparently from the Link's video, we call her a Gucci bag woman because she was a woman holding a Gucci bag. So apparently, everybody wanted to go back to KL from Chongqing because this was an AirAsia flight from Chongqing to KL. It is an international flight, and she was in it. And apparently, there were like some of her friends from the airport hasn't even boarded the airplane yet, which is the plane that she was in. So she tries to call her friend, but apparently she speaks way too loudly in in the plane. The other woman next to her actually kindly asked her not to speak very loudly, but her ego is so massive that she scolded the shit out of the girl, that woman, for actually scolding her from like speaking way too loudly, because the airplane hasn't even moved yet. So she thinks that she actually has a choice to actually speak to the phone very loudly. Like, you can speak to the phone, but please just behave yourself. Like, why speak very loudly in a plane where there were already like 100 people are waiting to go home, and then you're trying to mess with literally everybody from all around the world just because they want to go home, they wanted to see their parents or something, in KL. Apparently she just loves to ignore everybody and doesn't really care about. She only cares about herself and also literally anybody, whatever this was. Anyway, so yeah, that caused quite a little bit of a huss going on, and apparently she noticed that the Gucci bag woman noticed that the woman's also like filming her like scolding somebody like very loudly or something, like scolding her from from actually using her phone, trying to speak very loudly through the phone. She said that, oh, you should delete that video right now because that invades my face privacy or whatever the hell this was. So the flight attendant came in trying to calm everybody down, trying to calm the woman down. But the flight attendant, since there was an AirAsia flight, he doesn't even know how to speak Chinese, because it is an AirAsia flight, it's a Malaysia airline, and that flight attendant only speaks English and Malay, which is understandable. But that woman from PRC just refused to believe or even know about this fact. She doesn't even acknowledge that this international flight doesn't even speak Chinese. So she's trying to call out anybody who actually uses Chinese, who actually speaks Mandarin. Then the flight attendant be like, okay, let's just call my manager in. When he tried to convince her not to actually use, actually speak very loudly, she just doesn't really care because he also doesn't speak quite a lot of Chinese. And that causes quite a lot of chaos in this whole plane because the plane is already moving around in the middle and they had to stop it just because of her. Yeah, basically. So everybody wants to go home, but they can't just because she wants to find somebody who actually knows how to speak Mandarin. Then the police come in, the manager called the police come in because, he doesn't even know Chinese as well. She's trying to explain the whole thing, like situation from going on. And then the police just escorted her out from the plane. So yeah, I think that's my knowledge of the news going on. And all I could say was, when does people from mainland China has to remember that they were actually in an international public places, because this was not from their country, you know, like they were traveling all around the world, and yet they still refuse to actually learn the full discipline on how to be a normal tourist, on how to actually act normally, because apparently Chinese people from China doesn't even have this sort of knowledge, nor even they don't even know that you can't even speak very loudly in public places, sort of thing. They just don't know, and this has happened over and over again. I've seen news of Chinese people, Chinese couples, or whatever the hell, any individual from mainland China tries to fuck with anybody from Malaysia, just because they just refuse to learn good manners. They skip queues. They also like shout loudly, trying to mess with people, harassing people, even harassing Chinese and aunties. I've seen that Family Mart video like 1,000 times, and that still pissed me the fuck off. But we got no choice, because they were people from the other countries, and we can't even mess them up. The only thing that we could do right now is to actually tell these people not to do that. And yet they haven't learned their lesson. This has happened almost like 100,000 times, and it never really ends. And all this shit happened just because people from mainland China just don't even know how to be educated, or how to educate themselves on not to do this kind of thing. So yeah, and also try not to convince anybody or everyone to learn Chinese, because you would actually board an international air flight and not an airplane from China. If you wanted to board a flight or even book a flight that actually knows Chinese, just go through your own. Board an Air China flight or whatever it was. Don't try to fuck with us. Don't try to fuck with anybody internationally just because we don't even know how to speak Chinese. I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, take care.